Okay, so today our guest is Mike Slaats. He is from the Netherlands and he is the founder of Upvoty, which is a platform that lets you turn user feedback into an accessible optimization on your actual app or website. So you've been, doing the entrepreneurial game for about 10, 12 years now. I'm sure you have a lot of of wisdom to pass on. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, it's perfect.
Great. So, how did you know that an idea like this would, actually work, that people need it?
Yeah, so the idea for Upvoty, it came from the business I run before Upvoty. So it's basically the typical scratching my own itch, I would say.
And who would you consider your first mentor? Maybe for this product or, just in general, a long ways down the road, and what did they help you go through?
Well, I think I learned a lot from my mom, about the values in life. And she's someone that likes to explore new things. And I think that definitely helped me become the person I am today. I'm also like to explore, travel, make connections. And because of that, I was able to meet a lot of new people in my life that each individually help me with either becoming a better person or doing better business. So, for example, because I was so keen to meet new people, I eventually met my first investor, for example, in my previous business, who really helped me with getting the business started off the ground.
Yeah, I think it's something that a lot of young people should, take advantage of, just your actual voice and talking to people. You never know who you're going to make friends with, and it could just be exactly what you've been missing.
Yeah.
So how much time did it take for you to build Upvoty until it actually launched?
So we first built like an MVP for Upvoty, which basically was just a landing page with a sign up form and an explanation video, just to measure the interest in our upcoming product. And only after a couple of weeks, when we had like more than 200 signups, we started building the first version of the product, which was like a really slim and small version of what it needed to become. But it covered some pain points and we could then test it out real quick and take it from there. So all in all, it was just like 4 months, I would say, before we launched the first version.
Mm. Well, that doesn't seem like that long of a time. A lot of people, go back and rebuild and do it, back and forth. So how much funding was needed for that first version? And what would you recommend to those who don't have a way of funding themselves?
Yeah, so I was fortunate to have a pretty successful product before Upvoty with some good revenue. So we could use some of the revenue to finance the first versions. And we then bootstrapped our way to where we are today, where we basically can live off the revenue of Upvoty. So yeah, I would say start really small, and it doesn't even have to cost any money because our landing page, it was like zero money we put into it. And to really just first validate your idea and then maybe build a first small version that doesn't have to cost as much as well, and take it from there.
I totally agree. Sometimes validation is a step that can save you a lot of time and money, thinking that you might know your audience, but you figure out that this might be for different people than you expected it to be.
Yeah.
So how much time did it take for you to get those first users, customers? How did you do that?
So it's always about getting your product, or even at the start with your idea, to get it in front of potential customers in order to validate your solution. And what we did was we launched on platforms where we knew product teams and other software businesses were active. So for us, it was like Product Hunt and Indie Hackers. So we could potentially get them to sign up, get their feedback, optimize the product with the help of those customers, and really helped us understand the core pain points and what problems or solutions needed to be solving. And so after we launched, we pretty quickly were able to validate the product with paying customers. So that was the first sign that people were actually willing to pay for our product. And so we grew to like $1,000 MRR within like 6 months. So pretty quickly.
Yeah, so that is a great sign. So, being someone in the entrepreneurial world for over a decade now, what advantage would you say does Gen Z have, and how can they use that advantage to build their own startup?
Well, when I was starting my first business like 10 years ago, I was still basically living at my parents' house. So obviously it's a big advantage to take a little risk when you don't have a lot to lose at such age. The disadvantage could be the lack of experience, but on the other hand, there's so much information nowadays available. I mean, I learned basically everything I know from reading books or watching YouTube tutorials. And so it doesn't have to be a disadvantage to lack experience anymore. You just have to run on your computer and start absorbing all the information that's out there.
That is very true. There are also so many people, just looking to help you out. The minute you say that, you're young and you're new to this and you want to put yourself out there, then they see that as an opportunity to just take your brain kind of like a sponge and put everything in there. So as we've stated, a few times, you have a lot of experience. So what is one mistake that you would avoid?
Mm, I would say the one mistake I always see with like young entrepreneurs or even like bootstrappers at my age or any age, is that they are going all in on this idea they have without really validating if this idea is really valuable to their potential customers. So what I typically see is that they're building this product like for 3 years even, and then ship it, and it turns out that this product isn't solving any core problems that people are willing to pay for. So I would really go all in on validation and really see if there's potential in paying customers, because your product isn't a success until you have paying customers.
Yeah, as much as you think that it's a great product, if you don't have people believing in it as much as you do, then it kind of hits a wall at that point. I totally agree. So you have Upvoty and you have, a bunch of other ventures that you've went throughout the years. What are 3 traits that you've learned to look for in a business partner or co-founder type of person?
Well, I'm a solo entrepreneur, so I never had a co-founder. But if I were looking for right now to one, then it would be definitely someone that is a technical co-founder, because we're a software company and I'm not technical at all. So that would be really helpful.
Yeah, you always need someone that kind of weighs out your weaknesses. Um, so being a tech company, what is a tech tool that you currently can't work without? You use it constantly, maybe like an app or a website?
Well, basically, my whole life is run on Asana. It's a project management system. So you have a bunch of project management systems, but I encourage everyone to use one because you can store your ideas to have a clear mind. You can store all of your to-dos and your tasks. And I run my business and my personal life all from within one project management system.
Yeah, it's great. Asana, Trello, they have so many different kinds of platforms nowadays. People just love, seeing everything organized as well as just literally having it organized. So which entrepreneurs inspire you the most these days? Who do you have your eye on?
I always look up to Elon Musk because of the fact what
Elon
he's
Musk.
doing for mankind. Yeah. But to be honest, the most inspiration I get from people on Twitter that are building their businesses and building in public. So I have a bunch of people there I follow over there, and yeah, it gives me so much inspiration to connect with them and to really talk about our businesses and help each other out. That's what I get the most inspiration out of.
Mhm. People that are always willing to, just pass on their knowledge and connect, regardless if we actually know each other or virtually know each other, are always willing to give a helping hand. That's always something that you can find in this community pretty easy.
Yep.
So which trait of yours is your weakest and you need to outsource it somehow, maybe compensate for it with a teammate or some kind of tech platform?
Yeah, so definitely the technical side of building a software company. So I'm more a marketing guy, more focused on marketing and branding. And luckily I have, it's not a co-founder, but I have someone that's with me for like 10 years building all of my previous businesses and products. And yeah, he's really complimentary on my skill set. And we're actually hiring this year to expand the team. So I will delegate more of just the normal day-to-day, like customer support, etc. Um, in a couple of months, I would say. Yeah, that's something I would outsource pretty soon.
Very interesting. To all the young minds listening, take advantage of what you're hearing right now. So let's say I am an average teenager looking to build my startup and I have $100. How or where or what would you tell me to use this money, or, not at all?
With $100, you can easily create like an MVP to test out your product. We talked about it earlier, like validating your idea. Like, for example, to put up a landing page or a website, everybody can do it. It doesn't cost any money. You can just start up on a WordPress platform or just create a single page, go out there. And that $100 I would spend on, for example, you have services where you can launch your beta product or your idea even. And like, for example, we at Upvoty launched on beta list. It's like $75 or maybe $175, but around that amount of money, you can just invest it and you will be immediately in the eyes of your potential customers, which in return gives you valuable feedback in order to work on your product that you still have to launch, but you will have the insights of your potential customers, which will return in success for your product.
Yes, it is a huge step that you need to be sure that you have before, you take your actual product further and give it, upgrades and make it more advanced. I totally agree. So how important do you feel it is for entrepreneurs to think about social change when they're creating a business?
Well, social change is something that is important to every person in the world. So like, for example, racial equality. Yeah, it's an important topic, and depends on your type of business, how much you spend on it, I guess. Yeah, but we try to do our best on every level.
Yeah, I always say, like, I think to myself in this question that even if you are, making a gaming platform, you're making a positive way into this business kind of world, making sure that, you're giving a positive impact on your audience, whether it's big or small. It's still out there. It's still a positive way of looking at things. Okay, so last question. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would you pick?
Well, definitely time traveling, because I would love to travel back to like the Roman Empire and check out some of the battles and just see how life was back then.
Very cool. I like that. That is very, just make sure, you don't do any kind of butterfly effect stuff and just make the present horrible for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be super amazing. I would like to see, dinosaurs and whatnot. I see that happening.
Oh, wow. That would be cool.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time, and your platform seems amazing. I can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.